Coaches are getting to be probably, I was going to say a buzzword out there, but there are so many people use life coaches now. And I thought I would get Alison Bacon on, who is a life coach. Good morning, Alison. Happy New Year.
Good morning, Richard. Happy New Year to you as well.
Alison, why do we need a life coach or a business coach?
I feel that everybody can benefit from having somebody to be able to confide in, feel safe in, to be able to brainstorm and bounce off. We all could do with a life coach for many, many different reasons, and there's not one size that fits all.
Which I'm glad you've said, because I've spoken to a couple before who think, it's not one size fits all for people, is it?
No, not at all. And I know when I first started life coaching back in 2016, and I had a business coach myself, and I was warned that I was heading to business suicide by not specialising in one field. But for me, it was about being accessible to everybody in a way that's going to suit and serve them the most.
When you're a business and you're coming along and you're trying to pick a coach for you, you go along and you talk to them, do they have to have, be in the same or have intimate knowledge of what your business does to go along and guide you when they haven't been in the business that you're in, or have no knowledge of what you do?
It's more about connecting with the individual where they're at and meeting them where they're at to be able to really find what is real and relevant to them. So, and really being able to connect in a way that gets them to do that self-discovery on who they are and what they want. But in saying that, any coach can't actually tell anyone that they don't innately know themselves. It's just about bringing it to the surface and then potentially hearing it in a way that hasn't been presented before, and in a way that resonates for them to be able to continue or start their journey in a way that's going to be most productive and workable for them as an individual and what they ultimately want to achieve in their life now, but also in the future. When
some people come along and get coaching on there, basically sometimes that, if they're married or they're in a partnership, sometimes that other person ends up being the coach trying to tell them what they should and shouldn't be doing. But it's good to have that outside source, isn't it?
It's very important as a coach or for anyone to be able to really listen to understand where the individual's at versus listening to be understood and to be, and to hearing other people's opinions. It is about guiding and providing that support at 100%. But unless somebody really taps into what is real and relevant to them, a coach can only support them as much as they're willing to share. But when you meet a coach that can do that deep diving with that individual, as well as, providing relevance and story so it's very relatable, but most importantly, providing that safe environment that, is really about recognising when you're being in judgment and how do you dissolve or neutralise that judgment so you can provide that space for that individual so they don't feel that there are any barriers or boundaries to what they're saying or expressing.
It sounds to me, for some of them that are out there that I know about, it's a bit more like a therapist sometimes, a business therapist, isn't it?
Well, I think it can be both personal and professional coaching. It's not just for businesses. This is about working with somebody holistically on every single aspect of their life. It's like you've got a vehicle with 4 tyres. Each tyre needs to be in alignment and balanced. One of those tyres that isn't in alignment is going to eventually cause something to be unstable with that vehicle over time. So whenever we're working with anyone, it's about looking holistically, how can we best support them for who they are, where they want to go, what they want to achieve. But when we become balanced in all aspects of who we are as an individual, that allows us to have the strategies and the tools and the insight to best support us when we have that uncertainty or we don't know the best way forward.
When you're coaching a business or coaching people out there, is it just the one person, or, if there's 2 or 3 in the business, are you coaching all of them?
Yeah, so it's a really good point. I do personality profiling using the Birkman Method, which looks at characteristics and traits and taps into the, interest and motivators of the individuals, but also what their needs are. That works really well in a business, but also one-on-one, personally or professionally, in the sense that we can get the best out of people when we know what they're good at, what they enjoy, what they're motivated, but also how to create an environment where their needs are being met so they can excel in what they're actually doing in their role, but also in their personal life. When it comes to individuals, it is predominantly about working one-on-one, but at the moment I am working with a family, a mum, the 14-year-old and the 16-year-old teenager, and now the dad is seeing the value and the benefit, so he's also looking at getting involved. So while it is predominantly one-on-one or in small business groups, there is the opportunities that present to do the small group family settings or even the business settings as well.
How do the kids take you?
I find if you can provide them a safe space and speak in a language that resonates and where what they really understand, you meet them where they're at rather than where you're at. I have been surprised with the success that I have had with teenagers and even younger children as well. Generally, I did start only as word-of-mouth referrals for people who I've worked with, the parents or people who knew of me.
Yes.
But I have been surprised meeting kids where they're at, talking in a language that they understand. It's amazing how open and receptive they are and the phenomenal changes that have been presented out of those coaching sessions, especially when they know that the parents are invested in their well-being.
It's when you were saying that, I've been involved in a couple of things with like social media and things on that, and a lot of kids out there don't have anybody to talk to when it comes to these sort of things, and that's where I can see probably a real benefit sometimes for people.
Oh, 100%. I've been really surprised. I had a young lad who was missing out between 39 and 41 days of school a term, and this was going on for more than a couple of years. And, I think last year he missed out something like only a matter of weeks of school for the whole year. So to have that turnaround in such a short time, and that was really about, once again, providing that safe space so they can express. But also, you don't want to do a deep dive into their past and their history, to go see someone with one problem, you walk out with 10.
Yeah.
It's more about identifying what is at the core. Generally, at the core, we've compromised ourselves or we've taken on the responsibility of guilt that isn't ours, and it's about really tapping into what that looks like for that individual and then working their way through it so they can be empowered and take accountability in their knowledge and recognition of their situation rather than berate and self-sabotage, and which obviously then affects not only their own life but their interactions with other people, family, friends.
Very good. Alice, where can people find out more about you?
Easy to find on Google under Alice Bacon. My website is alicebacon.com. Quite easy. Otherwise, just type in Alice Bacon, as in Alice in Wonderland, bacon as in bacon and eggs, and you will find me on the net.
I was just going to say about the bacon and eggs. You got my joke first. Alice.
Definitely.
All right, Alice, I know you're under the pump. Thanks for fitting us in today. I really appreciate it.
No, I really appreciate the opportunity and just want to take my hat off for all the amazing work that you do and giving people this platform to be able to share and express their insights. Really, really valuable work that you're doing. So thank you.
No, thank you, Alice. Alice, have a good rest of the week.